I can't keep this a secret anymore. I whispered to myself as I clutched the small sonogram, the soft glow of the bedside lamp casting long shadows across the room. Every breath I took shallow and tense, each heartbeat echoing like a drum in the silent apartment. Alexander's voice buzzed through my phone, reminding me of the looming board meeting that could make or break his empire. And I felt the weight of our secret pressing down harder than ever, knowing that if anyone discovered the truth, now, everything we built would unravel in seconds. The quiet hum of the city outside contrasting sharply with the storm inside me. A mix of fear, anticipation, and something fragile I dared not name. I paced the room, my fingers brushing the edges of the small, gold ring he had left behind after our last fleeting night together, the only proof that our hidden bond existed. And suddenly my phone buzzed with a text from his assistant, urgent and terse, hinting at suspicion from his family. My stomach tightening as I realized that our careful plan to keep the pregnancy secret was teetering on the edge of collapse. I could almost hear the footsteps of his mother approaching in my imagination, her sharp gaze and instinct for control sending chills down my spine, and I clenched my fists, reminding myself that I had the strength to endure, that my silence was not weakness, it was my shield, the sonogram pressed to my chest, a silent promise of life, of a future I could not yet see but could feel in every nerve and bone. I took a deep breath and stepped toward the window, peering out at the city lights flickering like distant stars, the world moving on unaware of the secret I carried. And I knew that no matter what happened when the truth came out, I had already begun the journey of reclaiming my power, proving that even in the face of fear and uncertainty, I could stand tall, my dignity intact. And with the first soft stirrings of life inside me, I felt a fragile hope, a whisper of the future, waiting for Alexander to recognize the choice he must make and for our story to unfold beyond the shadows of secrecy. Every heartbeat a quiet drum of defiance and courage. The next morning, sunlight spilled through the tall windows of the apartment, casting a soft glow on Jasmine as she prepared breakfast in silence, her mind racing with thoughts of the previous night. The sonogram still clutched to her chest as a tangible reminder of the secret she carried. She could hear the distant hum of traffic below and the occasional chirp of birds in the city park, a stark contrast to the storm of anxiety swirling inside her. And when Alexander finally returned, his tailored suit immaculate, but his expression unreadable, she noticed the subtle tension in his shoulders and the way his eyes lingered on her, a mixture of concern and unspoken fear. He set down his briefcase and leaned against the counter, letting out a slow breath as if the walls themselves were closing in on him. And in that quiet moment, neither of them spoke, yet the weight of unspoken words filled the space between them. Jasmine breaking the silence with a tentative question about the board meeting and its outcome, watching Alexander struggle to maintain composure while his fingers traced the edge of the ring he had left with her, a small symbol of their bond and the life growing within her, the air thick with anticipation and the unsteady rhythm of hearts trying to stay calm in the face of inevitable confrontation. As the morning unfolded, Alexander received another message, this one from his assistant, hinting at growing suspicion among his family. And the subtle crease in his forehead betrayed the internal conflict he wrestled with. He excused himself briefly to make a call, his deep voice measured yet strained, while Jasmine took a seat by the window, feeling the sunlight warm her skin and reminding her that life moved on outside the bubble of secrecy they had created. She let her fingers graze the sonogram once more, a gentle reassurance of the small life depending on her courage. The ticking clock on the wall marking each second as both a countdown and a heartbeat of hope. And when Alexander returned, his posture slightly less rigid but his eyes searching hers, the tension in the room shifted into a fragile understanding, a silent agreement that they would face whatever came next together. The subtle sound of a car pulling up outside their building caught their attention, signaling the arrival of someone from his family. The moment stretching taut with expectation, Jasmine rose slowly, brushing her hair back from her face, her mind sharp and focused despite the whirlwind of emotions, ready to navigate the delicate dance of honesty and protection. And as the doorbell rang, echoing like a signal of destiny, Alexander stepped forward with measured steps, his hand brushing against hers for a brief, grounding connection, and together they faced the threshold, a quiet determination in their eyes, a shared courage to confront the questions, doubts, and discoveries that awaited. Every heartbeat a testament to the choice to meet truth with dignity. Every breath a reminder that their secret, fragile yet undeniable, had become the beginning of a new chapter, filled with uncertainty, hope, and the unspoken promise that they would no longer hide from the reality they had to face. Standing together as the door opened and the sunlight caught the edges of their intertwined shadows, the world outside waiting to witness the unfolding of their story. The door opened slowly, revealing Alexander's mother standing in the doorway with a mixture of curiosity and concern in her eyes, the morning sunlight highlighting the sharp lines of her face and the impeccable tailoring of her outfit. Jasmine straightened instinctively, her hands gripping the edge of the counter as she tried to radiate calm. Every muscle taut with anticipation, Alexander stepped forward, his presence steadying yet tense, the subtle scent of his cologne mixing with the warmth of the apartment, creating a strange sense of comfort amid the looming confrontation. His mother's gaze flickered to the small sonogram resting on the counter, and Jasmine felt a flicker of panic, her breath catching as she wondered if the secret she guarded so fiercely would be exposed in that instant. But Alexander, sensing her unease, subtly positioned himself slightly in front of her, a silent gesture of protection and unity, his calm voice greeting his mother and offering a tentative explanation, careful to choose words that revealed only what needed to be known while maintaining dignity and respect. His mother's expression softened slightly, yet the tension in the room remained, a quiet undercurrent of questions and judgments hovering just beneath the surface. Jasmine's mind raced as she considered every possible reaction, her eyes meeting Alexander's, finding in them a steadiness that mirrored her own determination to protect the life she carried and the fragile trust she was building. And as the conversation unfolded, small details emerged, stories of past decisions, glances exchanged that conveyed understanding without words, subtle shifts in tone and posture that communicated more than spoken phrases, and Jasmine realized that the strength she had cultivated in silence, the patience and courage to endure the uncertainty and concealment, was finally finding its place in this delicate balance of revelation and discretion. Every movement, every pause, every glance was part of a dance that could either preserve or fracture. The fragile piece. Alexander's mother asking a question about future plans, her voice steady but probing. Alexander responding with measured honesty, acknowledging responsibility and expressing commitment to care and protect. And Jasmine saw the tension ease incrementally, a testament to the power of truth tempered with respect and composure. She felt the warmth of the morning sun on her face as a metaphorical light of hope, signaling that the path ahead, while still fraught with challenges, was navigable. And with each passing minute, the apartment, once a cocoon of secrecy and anxiety, became a space of cautious optimism, a place where the delicate threads of family, trust, and new life were beginning to weave together. Alexander offering to show plans for adjustments in his schedule to accommodate Jasmine's needs, his voice calm and reassuring, Jasmine nodding, feeling a tentative connection solidify. And as the conversation drew to a natural pause, she glanced down at the sonogram once more, pressing it lightly to her chest, a silent acknowledgement that despite the uncertainties, despite the delicate negotiations of trust and expectation, she had begun to reclaim her narrative, standing not as a passive participant, but as an active force, guiding the unfolding story with dignity, patience, and an unyielding sense of hope. The morning sunlight catching the edges of the room and the two of them, casting elongated shadows that seemed to stretch into a future yet unwritten, filled with possibility, resilience, and the quiet, unwavering proof that even in the face of revelation and scrutiny, courage and compassion could shape the path forward. The afternoon sunlight filtered through the floor-to-ceiling windows, casting warm golden stripes across the polished wooden floor as Jasmine and Alexander sat in the living room, the tension from the morning slowly melting into a quiet, tentative calm, each lost in their own thoughts, the soft hum of the city outside providing a gentle backdrop to the delicate conversation unfolding within. Alexander leaned back slightly, his gaze fixed on Jasmine with a mix of admiration and concern, his voice calm but deliberate as he discussed ways to adjust his schedule to ensure her comfort and the health of their child. Jasmine listened intently, feeling a fragile sense of security take root as she realized that his words were not just polite assurances, but a genuine commitment. The soft rustle of papers on the coffee table punctuating the pauses between their exchanges, every glance and subtle movement, carrying weight, unspoken acknowledgments passing between them like a secret language. The ring he had left her earlier gleaming faintly in the sunlight, a symbol of trust and connection, and Jasmine felt a renewed sense of agency, knowing that she was not merely a participant in the unfolding story, but an active force shaping the course of events. The conversation turned naturally to the future, Alexander carefully outlining how he intended to manage his responsibilities, his tone steady, reassuring, and Jasmine could see the effort to balance power with empathy. The rhythmic ticking of the wall clock a constant reminder of time passing, each second reinforcing the urgency to navigate their new reality with grace and intelligence. She took a deep breath, the air warm and comforting, and allowed herself a moment to imagine the life growing within her, the tiny movements, the possibilities, a future that depended on courage, trust, and resilience. And as they continued to speak, discussing details, boundaries, and support systems, the apartment seemed to transform from a space once filled with anxiety and uncertainty into a sanctuary of shared understanding and careful optimism. Alexander's subtle gestures, a hand brushing back a stray lock of hair, a reassuring nod, spoke volumes in a language that required no words, and Jasmine felt the quiet power of their partnership solidifying. A mutual recognition that despite the delicate nature of their circumstances, they were capable of facing the challenges ahead together. The golden light continuing to shift and dance across the room, highlighting the edges of furniture, the glint of the sonogram on the counter, and the expressions on their faces, each detail a reminder of the tangible, precious reality they were protecting and nurturing. And as the afternoon waned into early evening, a gentle calm settled over them. Not as an end to tension, but as a milestone in their journey, a confirmation that even amid uncertainties and potential upheavals, dignity, patience, and steadfast commitment could guide them forward. And Jasmine, feeling the subtle stirrings of the life she carried, recognized in that moment the profound strength in quiet endurance and thoughtful action, the living proof that hope, preparation, and compassion could shape the unfolding of their story in ways both resilient and inspiring. A foundation that promised not only survival but growth, understanding, and the delicate triumph of careful courage. Evening settled over the city, the fading sunlight painting the apartment in soft hues of amber and rose as Jasmine and Alexander continued their careful conversation, the air filled with a quiet intensity that spoke of trust being tested and boundaries being negotiated. Alexander's hands rested lightly on the back of the chair beside Jasmine, a subtle gesture of reassurance as they discussed the practicalities of the coming weeks, including medical appointments, adjustments to his demanding schedule, and ways to ensure her comfort and peace of mind. Jasmine listened intently, appreciating the measured calm in his voice and the genuine consideration in his expressions, the occasional flicker of a smile revealing moments of warmth and connection that eased some of the tension that had dominated their interactions. Outside, the city lights began to twinkle against the darkening sky, a reminder of the world moving steadily onward while they navigated their private storm. Jasmine felt a sense of determination grow within her, understanding that the courage to speak up and assert her needs was as vital as the life she carried. Alexander acknowledged her insight, nodding slowly, validating her feelings and offering solutions that reflected both respect and partnership. The quiet click of the clock punctuated their dialogue, marking time as each decision and agreement strengthened the foundation of their shared future. As they spoke, the room seemed to absorb their combined energy, transforming into a space of careful optimism, each glance and movement reinforcing the silent promise to protect, nurture, and honor the delicate balance of trust and secrecy that had defined their journey until now. Jasmine's fingers lightly traced the edge of the sonogram, a tangible symbol of the life and hope anchoring their conversation. While Alexander's thoughtful responses conveyed both responsibility and empathy, the rhythm of their breathing slowly sinking as they found a mutual cadence in the dialogue. The once overwhelming tension gradually replaced by the quiet determination to face challenges. Together, he suggested small gestures of support, from arranging home-cooked meals to accompanying her to appointments. Each idea received with gratitude and consideration. Their words weaving a narrative of collaboration and respect, the soft hum of the apartment intermingling with distant city sounds creating a backdrop that felt simultaneously intimate and grounding. Jasmine sensed the growing strength in their connection. The recognition that honesty and measured revelation were powerful tools to maintain dignity and safety. Alexander's presence offered reassurance that the decisions they made were guided by thoughtfulness and care rather than mere obligation. The subtle shifts in light and shadow across the room reflected the emotional contours of their conversation, highlighting moments of understanding, empathy, and silent acknowledgement as night deepened. The city outside glittered like a constellation of possibilities, the apartment a haven where each word and gesture reinforced commitment and mutual respect, and Jasmine, feeling the gentle life within her stir, understood that resilience and careful planning could carry them through uncertainty, that the quiet power of collaboration and shared courage could transform anxiety into hope. And as they concluded the discussion with a mutual nod and a deep breath, the room held a sense of accomplishment and anticipation, a calm before the unfolding of the next chapter, filled with challenges met with dignity, care, and the unspoken promise of a future shaped by trust, compassion, and unwavering strength. The next morning, a soft gray light filtered through the apartment windows, lending a quiet serenity to the space as Jasmine moved slowly through the kitchen, the aroma of fresh coffee blending with the faint scent of the city streets below, each step deliberate, measured. As she navigated the lingering tension from the previous day, Alexander entered shortly after, his tailored suit slightly loosened from the long hours at the office. Yet his posture remained composed, the subtle lines of concern around his eyes betraying the weight he carried in reconciling family expectations with the reality of their situation. Jasmine offered a small, tentative smile, her fingers brushing the edge of the countertop as she considered the challenges ahead, the life growing inside her a constant, tangible reminder of her purpose and resilience. Alexander poured himself a cup of coffee and joined her by the window, their gazes meeting in a shared understanding, the silence between them filled with the quiet hum of the apartment and the distant sounds of morning traffic. The conversation unfolded gradually, touching on practical matters such as upcoming medical appointments, adjustments to daily routines, and how to navigate interactions with family members who were slowly becoming aware of the situation. Every word was chosen carefully, every tone calibrated to maintain dignity, trust, and respect. Alexander acknowledged Jasmine's insights and concerns with sincerity, offering reassurances that went beyond polite gestures, while Jasmine felt the growing strength of partnership in his attentiveness. The sun climbing higher in the sky, casting shifting shadows across the floor, a metaphorical reflection of the complexities and nuances in their lives. As they spoke, Jasmine's thoughts drifted to the life within her, the gentle stirrings a quiet heartbeat of hope and determination, reminding her that each decision and conversation was not only for her own sake, but for the future they were building together. Alexander's presence beside her was grounding, a steadying force that allowed her to confront anxieties and plan thoughtfully for what lay ahead. The apartment seemed to hum with possibility, a space transformed by intentional words, careful listening, and unspoken agreements. As they discussed ways to balance privacy with honesty, responsibility with compassion, and the protection of their shared future with the necessity of transparency. Each suggestion and compromise strengthened the bond between them, weaving a tapestry of trust, mutual respect, and quiet courage. The soft ticking of the wall clock underscoring the rhythm of their dialogue, a gentle reminder that time was both an ally and a silent witness to the careful construction of their plans. As the morning progressed, small gestures became significant, a touch on the arm, a shared glance, a nod of recognition, all contributing to the silent understanding that they were navigating uncharted territory together, and Jasmine felt a sense of empowerment, knowing that her voice, her choices, and her resilience were shaping the narrative just as much as Alexander's actions. The room, filled with the warm light of morning, symbolized the balance of hope and responsibility, and as they concluded their discussion, stepping back to take a moment to breathe and reflect, the city outside continued to move steadily, oblivious to the quiet determination unfolding within the apartment, a testament to the strength of patience, trust, and courage. And Jasmine, feeling the gentle life within her, recognized that every careful choice, every measured conversation, and every act of respect and compassion would serve as the foundation for the next chapter of their shared journey, one guided by dignity, hope, and an unwavering commitment to protect the life they were bringing into the world. Night had settled over the city, the apartment bathed in the soft glow of indoor lighting reflecting off the polished surfaces and casting gentle shadows that seemed to echo the quiet resolve in Jasmine and Alexander, both sitting across from each other at the dining table, with cups of tea cooling slowly before them. The conversation this evening calm, yet purposeful as they discussed preparations for the weeks ahead, from upcoming appointments to how they would manage interactions with family and colleagues while maintaining privacy and dignity. Alexander's voice steady and measured, carrying reassurance without overbearing insistence, while Jasmine responded with thoughtful insights, each suggestion and concern met with respect and deliberate attention. The hum of the refrigerator and the distant sounds of traffic providing a steady, grounding background, her hands resting lightly on the table, fingers tracing the edge of the cup, a subtle anchor to focus her thoughts. And as they spoke, moments of silence allowed for reflection. Each pause waited with unspoken understanding and mutual recognition of the challenges yet to come, the air between them filled with a delicate balance of anticipation and trust, Alexander reaching occasionally to brush back a loose strand of hair from Jasmine's face, a gesture of gentle care that conveyed steadiness and protection, their eyes meeting in a silent exchange of determination and resolve, the sonogram resting nearby as a constant reminder of the new life around which their plans and decisions revolved. Jasmine felt a sense of empowerment settle within her, the courage cultivated through weeks of careful navigation of secrecy and uncertainty now crystallizing into confidence and clarity. Alexander acknowledged her growing strength, nodding with respect and affirming the importance of her perspective in shaping the choices they made together. The clock on the wall ticking softly, marking the passage of time as each careful discussion strengthened the foundation of trust, partnership, and mutual responsibility. As the evening deepened, the city lights outside twinkling through the window like distant stars, the apartment felt like a sanctuary of quiet determination, a space where honesty, patience, and compassion created a rhythm of connection that promised resilience and thoughtful decision-making in the days ahead. Jasmine's thoughts drifted briefly to the future, imagining the moments yet to come, the nurturing of life, and the continued building of trust with Alexander, each vision tempered with realistic planning and careful attention to emotional well-being. Alexander's voice, calm yet attentive, guided the conversation toward actionable steps, solutions to potential conflicts, and ways to maintain their dignity and privacy. The soft clinking of cups punctuating their dialogue and reinforcing the grounded nature of their planning, and in the stillness between words, Jasmine felt the reassuring presence of partnership, the quiet strength of shared commitment, and the proof that their combined patience, courage, and empathy could carry them through the uncertainty and challenges ahead. The evening drawing on with a gentle rhythm of conversation, reflection, and quiet acknowledgement of progress, their minds aligned in purpose, their hearts steady with resolve. And as they finally set down their cups and took a deep, synchronized breath, the apartment seemed to hold a serene sense of accomplishment, a quiet promise that through careful planning, trust, and respect, they could face the unfolding future together with strength, dignity, and hope for the life they were preparing to welcome into the world. The following morning, the apartment was bathed in soft, natural light, the city outside awakening with the gentle hum of traffic and distant chatter, while inside Jasmine and Alexander moved with a quiet, deliberate rhythm, the previous evening's discussions laying a foundation for a sense of calm determination. Jasmine poured a cup of tea, the warmth rising in her hands as she considered the life growing within her and the careful planning that had brought them to this point. Alexander stood nearby, reviewing a few documents but keeping his attention on her, his posture relaxed yet attentive, the occasional glance conveying reassurance and partnership. They spoke softly about the coming days, discussing how to handle further interactions with family members, how to schedule medical appointments, and how to maintain both privacy and dignity throughout the process. Every word chosen with care, every phrase an act of collaboration, the apartment filled with the soft sounds of morning. The clinking of cups, the rustle of papers, and the gentle ticking of the wall clock marking the steady passage of time. Jasmine's thoughts drifted to the future, imagining the moments to come, the nurturing of life, and the continued building of trust with Alexander, each vision accompanied by a deep breath that grounded her in the present. Alexander responded with measured attentiveness, listening to her concerns, offering thoughtful solutions, and providing gentle reassurance. The subtle shifts in light across the room reflecting the shifting layers of emotion and understanding between them. As they continued their discussion, small gestures became significant, a reassuring touch on the hand, a nod of acknowledgement, a fleeting smile, all reinforcing the growing bond and shared commitment. Jasmine felt the strength of their partnership solidifying, the quiet confidence that comes from being seen, heard, and respected. Alexander mirrored that confidence, recognizing her courage and resilience, the life they were nurturing together serving as a constant, tangible reminder of the stakes and the responsibilities they carried. Outside, the city streets were coming alive, the sounds of life carrying in through the open windows. Yet inside, the apartment remained a sanctuary of focus, calm, and quiet determination, every choice, every word, every shared glance contributing to a narrative of hope, trust, and steady preparation. Jasmine pressed a hand gently against her abdomen, a silent acknowledgement of the life she carried and the responsibility and care it demanded. Alexander met her gaze, a shared understanding passing between them, that the path ahead would require patience, careful planning, and mutual respect. And as they moved through the morning, preparing for the day, the sense of possibility grew, the challenges they anticipated tempered by their commitment to navigate them together, their partnership a testament to the power of empathy, deliberate action, and courage. The apartment, illuminated by the morning sun, felt alive with the quiet energy of hope, resilience, and the deliberate cultivation of a future in which dignity, care, and love formed the foundation for all that was to come. And as Jasmine and Alexander stepped back for a moment to share a quiet, reflective glance, the promise of the life they were preparing for and the continued building of trust and understanding filled the space with a palpable sense of possibility and purpose. The city beyond unaware, but moving in synchrony with their careful, intentional rhythm. Every heartbeat and breath within the apartment a reminder of the life they were protecting, nurturing, and preparing to welcome into the world. A chapter defined by patience, courage, and unwavering commitment. The afternoon light spilled softly into the apartment, warming the hardwood floors and highlighting the subtle tension and anticipation lingering in the air. As Jasmine and Alexander continued their careful preparation for the days to come, the city beyond the windows alive with movement while inside, every sound, from the soft hum of the refrigerator to the distant chatter of pedestrians, seemed to anchor them in the present moment. Alexander sat beside Jasmine on the sofa, his posture relaxed but attentive, hands resting lightly near hers as they discussed upcoming medical appointments, the balance of his demanding career, and the ways to maintain privacy and dignity while integrating family and close friends into their plans. Jasmine listened intently, her eyes meeting his with a quiet determination, feeling the strength of their partnership grow with every carefully chosen word, every suggestion met with thoughtful consideration. The apartment a sanctuary of focus, calm, and gentle energy. The soft flicker of the city lights outside casting elongated shadows across the room, symbolizing the challenges and possibilities that lay ahead. Jasmine's hands rested on her abdomen, a silent acknowledgement of the life growing within her and the responsibility and hope it represented. And as they spoke, small gestures, a reassuring glance, a nod, a gentle squeeze of her hand, conveyed trust, support, and the quiet power of collaboration, each discussion building a foundation of mutual respect and preparedness. The ticking clock marking the steady rhythm of time as they navigated conversations about future routines, potential family reactions, and the careful orchestration of daily life. Alexander's voice remained calm and measured, providing reassurance without overstepping, while Jasmine's insights shaped decisions, reflecting her courage, awareness, and growing confidence. And as the afternoon deepened into early evening, the space seemed to settle into a rhythm of quiet accomplishment, each moment reinforcing their shared commitment and capacity to face uncertainties with dignity. The soft glow of lamps mingling with the fading sunlight, highlighting the contours of their thoughtful expressions and the tangible sense of partnership. They paused to reflect on the discussions, a gentle breath shared between them, acknowledging the progress and preparation they had accomplished together, the soft clinking of cups punctuating the air as they sipped tea, a grounding ritual amidst the careful planning. And Jasmine felt a profound sense of empowerment, knowing that through deliberate action, open communication, and mutual support, they had created a space of resilience and hope, the apartment filled with quiet confidence, the life within her a constant, tangible reminder of purpose and responsibility. And as night approached, the city lights sparkling in the distance like stars reflected on glass, the apartment held the promise of possibility, a stage for the next chapter of their lives, each heartbeat, each careful decision, and each shared moment serving as proof that with patience, courage, and unwavering commitment, they could face the unfolding future together, protecting and nurturing the life they were preparing to welcome into the world while maintaining dignity, strength, and the quiet power of partnership that would guide them through all the days to come.